and welcome back to our channel. If you guys don't already know us, I am Jessica and this is Henry, also known as on Instagram as King Henry of Nashville and Henry's handler, Henry. I'm gonna let you guys in on a secret right now. When we're in the house and Henry does not have his service dog vest on, he does not like to generally stay still, especially when I'm not like he's not directly laying on top of me. So I have an entire pouch of treats here. So while we're filming this video, I'm also going to be doing a little bit of training with Henry to make sure that he stays stationary, right? And then hopefully before we know it, this will be just the usual for him and we won't have to have so many treats. It's gonna take a while. But, so welcome back to our channel. We used to have a handful of videos on here with some training and answering a few questions, but I've decided to redo our channel because I was not happy with the quality and the content, and if you're not happy with something, figure like, why not just redo it? So, but in the meantime, if you guys have a ton of questions, which I'm sure you will, you can head over to King Henry of Nashville or Henry's Handler on Instagram, and we answer a ton of your questions already on there. Plus, there's a ton of cute photos of this little boy. Yeah. So you guys can check it out over there. In the meantime, just so you know, I plan on having this channel where we're gonna have 2 videos a week. One video will be regarding more of Henry's life, and the other video will be more about me. Also, this is more of like a first date, so looking like this, for better or for worse, is not gonna happen all the time, okay? Sometimes I'm gonna be wearing like sweatpants and like a really large t-shirt with like zit cream on my face and like my hair in a bun, because like this is chronic illness, this is real life, okay? So I'm just giving you a fair warning now before you guys are like, wow, like, who is this other person that she decided to put on our channel? They're both me, they're like my 2 personalities. Anyways, without further ado, we are going to get to your questions. I asked on Henry's Instagram what questions you guys had for him regarding his All About Me video. So I'm going to turn to those questions. So one of the first and very easy questions, of course, that a few people have asked on here is how old is Henry? Today's date is September 10th. So at this point, Henry is a year and 9 months old. He will be 2 on January 15th. So how did I choose Henry? I get this question all the time. I started looking for a service dog. I knew I absolutely wanted a golden retriever. That was easy. So I started off on the American Kennel Club website. I knew that I wanted a breeder that had a couple of the awards that they give out. So there's the Bred with Heart award and then the Breeder of Merit award. And I figured that that would give me a jumping off point to find a good breeder. When I did find a breeder, I found them through the AKC website, and I was really happy with everything I saw. They had a great website of their own displaying all their male dogs, all their female dogs, all their upcoming litters. So I contacted Sun Golden Kennel in Edgerton, Wisconsin, and I spoke to Sharon, and she was great. I filled out the application. She put me on the waiting list. At the time, the waiting list was really long, Henry, and she told me that I might be getting on one of the first 3 litters that she had. So I ended up making the very first litter. So that was January of 2017. She gave me a call and she had 1 boy left, and it just worked out because what happens is people either want certain parents, or they want a boy or a girl, or they want a certain time of year. And like, as fate would have it, it just worked out so well. So I fell onto one of those litters, the very first one, and things worked fast from there. 6 weeks later, we had the puppy meet and greet. Henry was part of a litter of 4 boys and 4 girls. So we drove up to Wisconsin to meet all 4 boy dogs. They all had different collars on. We met them. I did not temperament test them. I just played with them. I watched their interactions. I did a mental temperament test, if you will. Like I watched them and I just kind of led with my heart. And so did my husband. We just led with our heart, and just what dog do we feel connected to. So we left the puppy meet and greet and we gave our breeder the two colors or the two names of the dogs that we preferred. So Henry was the teal puppy, and then the other dog that we looked at was the light blue puppy. At 7.5 weeks old, a couple days before I picked him up, his litter was temperament tested, and they finished up all that stuff. And our breeder actually chooses the puppy for you. And I could not be happier when I opened up the email and I learned that we got the teal puppy, which was Henry, and which was my #1 choice. He was my choice from when I was watching his puppy videos that she would upload for all the photos, and then of course when I met him. And it just worked out so well. Basically, that is how I chose Henry. He was chosen for me. Okay. What kind of treats do we feed Henry? Well, Henry, what kind of treats do we feed you? Actually, I have a thing right here. Henry, wait. Okay. Actually, I just started using this brand because they are cheaper than the brand that we were using. These are the Stella and Chewy's. These are actually meal mixers, so you're technically supposed to put them in with food. I don't put them in with his food. I just use them as treats. And they're just these little freeze-dried chicken treats, and he loves them. So we use those as Stella and Chewy. We are a huge fan of the Origin freeze-dried treats as well, but the Stella and Chewy are much cheaper. So we use the Origin freeze-dried, which are great, Stella and Chewy's, and then we also use Bill Jack, which is they're the little treats that are maybe 3 calories each. And I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the ingredients in those, but Henry has never had an issue with them. They seem pretty they're fine, and I like how soft they are. We used to use the Zooks, which is a really popular, they come in a yellow bag and it says Zooks, and those were our go-to. We loved those. However, in the last maybe 6 months or so, what are you doing? In the last maybe 6 months or so, every single bag that we received or that we bought at the store was stale. They're little tiny treats and they were hard as a rock. I've purchased them from different retailers. I don't know if they changed their formula, but that really stinks. So that, and then also today, because I'm asking kind of a lot of Henry right now, he hasn't been exercised at all. I'm asking him to remain still. We're just using pieces of cut up hot dog, which is anything that's fresh in my mind is gonna be a really high value treat for Henry. So he is the most excited about it and it's the biggest reward. Our smallest reward are those little 3 calorie treats that we use. A mid to high reward is the freeze dried. And then, like I said, an absolute biggest reward is anything fresh. Sometimes it's leftover cheeseburger. Sometimes, not with the bun, just the meat. Any chicken that we have maybe left over, hot dogs. Those are his favorite. All right. So, is Henry neutered? So Henry is a 1 year and 9 months, and our breeder actually has we have a contract with our breeder because of the issues and the things like hip dysplasia and joint issues that golden retrievers sometimes have. The contract states and stipulates that we are not allowed to fix him until he is at least 18 months old. So he just hit that mark. However, from the research I have done into golden retrievers, everyone is going to be different, so I don't judge you if you do have your dog fixed or if you don't, or if you disagree. We can just agree to disagree. But from the research I have personally done and the discussions we've had with our vet, we've decided to never fix Henry. fix or neuter. This comes from things that I've read up on weight gaining golden retrievers, on their joints and things like that. So we did have to speak to our breeder about this, because although they want you to wait until they're 18 months, they do want you to generally have the dog that they gave you. They generally want them fixed. And that just is because they don't want anything to happen. They don't want their purebred dog going out and having litters of puppies with other dogs. It doesn't look good for their name. They don't want dogs out there having health issues because they're not bred properly. So that is why, but we did get clearance from our breeder to not fix Henry. Our vet is very happy with that. And also our vet, in addition to that, does not recommend fixing any dog before they're 18 months. And that is because with large breed dogs, their growth plates, so like their joints, their growth plates don't fuse, they don't close, they're not done growing until they're 18 months. So your dog, like they're growing, and if you fix them too early, they're missing vital hormones to fuse properly and to grow the strength that they should have. So that is like the thought process behind it. Now, a lot of people, obviously, especially with male dogs, deal with behavioral issues as a result of not fixing their dog. We never had that happen. I knew that this would potentially be an issue with not fixing him, but I full-heartedly believe that because of Henry's training is the only reason why we've never had that issue. And it does make me proud. Like, we've had maybe a week or two where he was displaying boy behaviors that I wasn't necessarily thrilled with, but we just trained through it. We didn't go to the dog park. I had him wear his e-collar more. I made sure that he was getting a ton of exercise so that he wasn't overstimulated and kind of like pent up. So those were some of the things that I did to stop the behavior. In addition to that, I also, Henry, you're like moving away from me. This chair, I feel like used to be a lot closer. In addition to that, Henry also still pees squatting. I never ever encouraged him to pee with his leg up. So when he did try to pee with his leg up, this is gonna be super controversial, but you know what? It has worked for us, and you guys know how much I care about Henry. So, or if you don't, you will learn how much I care about this dog. So when Henry did once or twice try to pee with his leg up, I very gently just pushed his leg down and gave him a treat for squatting. And I mean, we've only had a handful of times where he's tried to pee with his leg up. And I do believe that because he doesn't mark and because he doesn't threaten other dogs in that way, that has helped with him not being neutered. Was Henry easy to train? The answer, honestly, is yes. Henry is the first dog I have ever trained. I've never ever trained another dog. The very first day I got him, we began training. And a lot of people disagree with that and think you shouldn't begin training because they will get overwhelmed and they'll start to not like it. But with Henry, our training was basic. You know, we were doing things like sit, doing things like wait for your food, just behaviors that any dog should have. So I wasn't training him at 7 weeks old to like go retrieve something like from the next room. It was really easy, and I think that part of that comes from starting when he was so young, learned to work for everything, and he enjoyed it. You know, like it's just like humans, you know, they want to work hard and reap the benefits. So Henry always loved to train. He did go through a couple of periods of time where I felt like he had forgotten everything, but those were few and far in between, and we always got through them. What is Henry's favorite thing to do when he's not working? Henry absolutely loves the dog park. Now that's obviously, once again, super controversial. I understand that not everyone wants to go to the dog park. Not everyone should go to the dog park, either because of their dog or other dogs or the area that they're in. But it is Henry's favorite thing to do. The area that we live in is incredibly dog friendly. There is a dog park every 10 miles, like within like 100 miles. It's pretty crazy. dog parks here are very different than dog parks I've seen at other places in other states and other cities. So I do trust our dog parks. He loves them. It's one of the things I did to socialize him with other dogs when he was little. So he knows that when we get there, he gets excited, and he loves to wrestle. He loves to wrestle. He's not much of a runner. Some dogs just like to zoom around, and he does do that, but if he wants to wrestle with other dogs. Like, that's his absolute favorite. And you can always tell that they're just playing and like they're just having a ball. And that's why he has his friends that come over, and we do like our little home dog park, because he has like really good friends that come over, and I just trust him with them. I trust those other dogs, and he's never had an issue with them. So hands down, his favorite thing to do is to wrestle and go to the dog park with other dogs. How do you combat the public trying to pet, talk, or distract Henry? So, something that I haven't exactly completely addressed in this is that Henry is a trained service dog, so he's trained for me and for my needs to help with my disability. I will get into my disability and why I need him in another video, but Henry, stop. Shh, stop. Somebody's very excited. So Henry is task trained, which means he does specific things to help me. When I go out in the public with him, into places that dogs normally are not allowed, Henry, stop. Oh my gosh, he is driving me nuts right now. Like, this is an example. He is way too excited. But when I go out in the public with him, a lot of times people are excited to see a dog in public, and of course he's very cute and they want to pet him. But one of Henry's biggest struggles is people coming up to him very, very excited. And it can be too much for him to handle and not get excited. So when people approach him and ask for me if they can pet him, a lot of times I have to say no. Because if I say yes, he will break his concentration. He won't be focusing on me. And if he's not focusing on me, not only is it a risk for him and I, like in my health, but it also is just not proper behavior. So I'm not gonna allow someone to pet him and break his behavior and suddenly, he's not up to service dog standards. So a lot of times if people ask if they can pet him, I'll say, no, I'm sorry, he's working, he's in the zone. And I know that sounds funny to some people, but when I say that he's in the zone, a lot of people get it. They're like, oh, okay. Like, if I pet him, he won't be in the zone. He won't be focused. I don't know why I started saying it. I just did. And it just works. People, like I said, people just seem to get it. The other thing is when people pet him and they don't ask, which, first of all, kind of blows my mind, as it does with, I'm sure, many people, because I get that he's a golden retriever, and I get that he looks cute, and I get that he looks friendly, and he is. But the fact that you would pet a dog that you don't know blows my mind. You don't know if that dog has aggression issues. You don't know if that dog is triggered by something coming out of its face or behind it when it's not prepared. So there's that. I will always correct people because of the fact that, yeah, you might be able to suddenly pet Henry and it'd be okay, but one day you might go to pet a dog and they might not be okay with it. Henry said. You might go to pet a dog and they might not be okay with it. And then suddenly that dog bites you and it's the dog's fault because you decided to pet it and it wasn't okay with that. So anyways, the way I deal with people petting Henry when they did not ask is I always say, sometimes I get very stern. It depends on who it is. A lot of times it's honestly grown men, and I don't know why that is, but it's just the truth. So a lot of times I'll say, he's working, you can't pet him. Or like, he's working, he can't be distracted. And I'll get very stern because it's frustrating. And because I want you to know that, like, I might look like a really nice girl and he might look like a really nice dog, but like, listen, like, that was really disrespectful of you to do, especially as a grown adult. With children, I'll say, I'm sorry, sweetie, he's working, he can't be pet. Kids, it's obviously a lot more difficult. A 2-year-old doesn't understand what I'm saying. Like, they just see cute, fluffy dog and they want to pet him. Henry. So when that happens, I'll use it as a training opportunity. Instead of focusing on the kid and the unfortunate fact that their parent is not watching them and allowing them to pet a strange dog, I will instead turn and make that a training opportunity. I would focus only on Henry and making sure that Henry can work through it and that he is watching me and that he's able to focus and he's able to sit and not jump, or that he's able to go through my legs and do a center. So that is what I do. He's gonna fall off this chair. That is what I do when somebody pets him and I can't stop it from happening. What are some weaknesses you and Henry have with training or behavior? This is actually a really good question because I don't feel that people in the service dog community are honest enough. A lot of people hold their dog to a really high standard, as they should, but they're also not realistic. He's a dog, like he's gonna mess up. I'm a human and I still mess up. And I know, like I have, you know, like the ability to have foresight and I still mess up. So one of the biggest issues we ever had, and I'll just go into kind of this one. We ran into a working dog and it was a large black German Shepherd, and Henry got so excited. And the trainer or the handler was a young boy, not too young, he was maybe in his teens, and he stopped to speak with us in a nice way. That it was my fault, it wasn't his handler's fault at all, but a lot of people, you know, with working dogs, you guys just walk right by each other, you know, because you don't know. Dogs are inherently, for most people, or for most dogs, distracting, you know, to see another dog. Now Henry's like bulletproof, honestly. That's not even me compensating. He really is great. But the person stopped, their dog was doing phenomenal, clearly, you know, sitting and listening. Henry started barking. And this young guy was trying to talk to us and, you know, be nice, and, you know, I was like, oh yeah, he's in training. And it was ironic because he was like, oh, there was a pug that I saw that clearly was just like off, like on its leash, and like clearly wasn't real service dog. And I'm like, oh yeah, like he's in training. And then of course he barks and like starts to get super rambunctious and want to play. And I couldn't bring him back in. And my heart just sank. Like I just felt like I failed. I didn't set him up for success. He wasn't going to be a real service dog because he couldn't not be excited around other dogs. And then on top of that, I felt like such an idiot in front of this other handler who doesn't know that like he really is training. He really is going to like train to be a service dog and just bring a random dog in with me. So that was really tough. Henry used to get so excited around other dogs. And after that happened, I shut down for the day and I was really, really upset. But after that, Henry and I worked on him not being distracted by dogs every single day for like 2 weeks straight. Every single day we went to PetSmart, just worked with like really high value treats for him to not be crazy around other dogs. And I can honestly say, and I hope to one day get it on camera, Henry can be bombarded like face to face with another dog that's excited and jumping all over him and still focus. So we got through it, but that was tough and it was scary. So that was definitely an issue then. What toys does Henry play with when he isn't working? Henry's favorite toys, hands down, are stuffed toys. He's not a huge fan of tennis balls unless they squeak. He really likes the squeaky ones. So stuffed toys and squeaky tennis balls. If it's a regular tennis ball, he basically wants nothing to do with it. How can you be so gosh darn cute? Do you have an answer for me, Henry? Is your husband also close to Henry? The answer is yup. And they have their own relationship and they have like their own special things. And I think that's very important, by the way, for anyone who is, in our case specifically, is married. What kind of food does Henry eat? Henry currently eats Origin large breed puppy. I did get clearance from the vet to switch him over to a adult brand, but he only gets 2 to 3 cups a day. And so a bag of that lasts us an entire month. So when he turns 2 in January, that's when we're gonna switch him over, but I'm like waiting as long as I can. And I will let you guys know then what exactly we switch over to. Let's see. Will you ever breed Henry? We are in discussions with our breeder about breeding Henry. I will leave it at that. Did Henry go through fear development periods? And if so, what was the weirdest thing he was scared of or the hardest thing to work through? I actually really like this question. Henry, to this day, doesn't mind his reflection in like mirrors where it's like one-on-one and it's very clear, it's clear to him that it's himself. But Henry does not like mirrors when they're like above him or at the grocery store, those mirrors where he can see himself, but he very clearly thinks that it's another dog, and it's like staring at him. He doesn't like those, and we're still working on getting through that. What tools or resources are your very favorite for training Henry? Yeah, I guess, you know what, like if I could pick a favorite tool for us, it'd probably be the clicker. And when I started training him, I was really against clicker training because I didn't understand it. And I very quickly learned the truth about clicker training and we love it. So, clicker training. Okay. What's a quirky thing about Henry? Ooh. Let's see what the quirky thing about you. You are very weird. Oh, okay. This is it. Hands down, his quirkiest thing. Henry stalks people and other dogs and animals. Like a full-on lion on all fours, slowly prowling towards you and eyes locked on you. And like, it's terrifying, and then he pounces on you. And that is hands down his weirdest thing. Like, I've never seen another dog do that. What is Henry's most useful task? What do you think? Clearly, it's that one. No, but his most useful task, probably his picking things up retrieval and his deep pressure therapy. If you guys don't know what they are, I will answer those in another video, but those are hands down his most useful tasks. And then his most useful behavioral, like command, is definitely his heel, hands down. His ability to just stay by my side and just be there for me and just like kind of like seamlessly work with me, hands down his best task that's not a task, his best command. And I will totally do a video on his heel because everyone asks how I trained Henry how to heel, and I will do a video on that when I have the brain capacity to. But I think that this video is long enough because we've been here for like a year now. Yeah, I think so. Hopefully I'm actually happy with this video. But if you guys are happy with this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. We plan on coming out with new videos twice a week. And yeah, thank you guys so much for the support and for being here with us, especially during our long period of absence. We're happy to be back. So, without further ado, let's give them a kiss goodbye, Henry. Bye, guys.